Juneteenth Top 10 Facts 2021. Number 1. The beginning of the story. Since the late 1800s, African Americans have commemorated Juneteenth, an annual festival honoring the end of slavery in the United States. However, there has been renewed interest in the day that commemorates freedom in recent years, notably following countrywide protests over police brutality and the killings of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and other Black Americans. Given the broad changes and extensive protests across the United States over the last year, and following a guilty judgment in the killing of Mr. Floyd, the celebration continues to reverberate in fresh ways. Here's a quick rundown of everything you need to know about Juneteenth. Number 2. What is Juneteenth? Gordon Granger, a Union commander, came at Galveston, Texas, on June 19, 1865, almost 2 months after Confederate leader Robert E. Lee surrendered at Appomattox, Virginia, to inform enslaved African Americans of their freedom and the end of the Civil War. President Abraham Lincoln had issued the Emancipation Proclamation more than 2.5 years earlier on January 1, 1863, and General Granger's statement put it into force. The name of the festival was created by combining the months of June and 19. Juneteenth, Independence Day, Freedom Day, and Emancipation Day are other names for the day. Number 3. The festivities at the beginning. According to Juneteenth.com, a website that tracks festivities, the first celebration became an annual one, and it expanded in popularity through the years with the inclusion of descendants. The day was marked by prayer and the gathering of families. In certain events on this day, enslaved men and women, as well as their descendants, made an annual journey back to Galveston. Number 4. The festivities in 1872. Celebrations reached new heights in 1872 when a group of African American clergy and businesspeople in Houston purchased 10 acres of property and established Emancipation Park. The venue was meant to host the city's annual Juneteenth event. Today, while some festivities take place in backyards with families, where food is an important component, certain places, such as Atlanta and Washington, organize larger events, such as parades and festivals, involving citizens, local companies, and others. While the coronavirus epidemic dampened celebrations in 2020, some communities are moving ahead with plans this year. According to Douglas Matthews, who has helped arrange Juneteenth festivities for more than 2 decades, Galveston has remained a busy destination for Juneteenth events over the years. Number 5. The festivities in 2021. In 2021, the city will erect a 5,000 square foot painting titled Absolute Equality on the site, where General Granger notified enslaved African Americans of their liberation. A parade and picnic will also be held throughout the city to commemorate the holiday. This year's events and activities in Atlanta have been reduced, although organizers have planned a parade and music festival at Centennial Olympic Park. Similar events are planned for Annapolis, Maryland, Chicago, Detroit, and Los Angeles. Number 6. A new national holiday has been established. Previous attempts to make it a national holiday have failed, and few have battled harder for it than Opal Lee, a Fort Worth activist who fights for the cause. It is expected to become the 11th federally recognized holiday this year. The Senate enacted a bill to commemorate the day on June 15, and the House followed suit the next day. President Biden was scheduled to sign the bill into law on Thursday, giving government employees the day off for the first time this year. Texas was the first state to declare Juneteenth a holiday in 1980, albeit the distinction is mostly symbolic. At least 45 states and the District of Columbia have moved to formally commemorate the day since then. Governors Andrew Cuomo of New York and Ralph Northam of Virginia, both Democrats, signed bills designating Juneteenth holidays in their respective states last October. Last month, Washington Governor Jay Inslee, a Democrat, made Juneteenth a state holiday beginning in 2022, while Illinois legislators adopted a bill making it a paid day off for all state employees, as well as a school holiday. Governors John Bel Edwards of Louisiana and Janet Mills of Maine, both Democrats, have approved laws declaring the day a state holiday. During last year's turmoil, several firms made it a company holiday, providing many employees a compensated day off. Last year, Twitter and Square, a mobile payment firm, as well as the National Football League, Best Buy, Nike, and Target all celebrated Juneteenth. Number 7. What is the significance of Juneteenth? Following the death of George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man, in the custody of Minneapolis police in May 2020, hundreds of people throughout the country took to the streets in protest. Mr. Floyd's name, along with Ms. Taylor's, Mr. Arbery's, and David McAtee's, became a rallying cry for change throughout the country, successfully re-energizing the Black Lives Matter movement. Number 8. Shift waves. That shift occurred in waves. Police in Minneapolis have been prohibited from using chokeholds and strangleholds, and officers are required to intervene and report any use of unlawful force. Democrats in Congress introduced broad measures to combat police misbehavior and racial prejudice. The bill was the most far-reaching involvement in policing that politicians had attempted in recent memory. Companies across the board expressed support for the Black Lives Matter movement, and employees who insulted Mr. Floyd's murder or made racist statements were either suspended or dismissed. Derek Chauvin, a former Minneapolis police officer, was convicted guilty of 2 counts of murder in Mr. Floyd's killing in April. Number 9. Mark Anthony Neal role. According to Mark Anthony Neal, an African-American studies researcher at Duke University, there are certain parallels between the Civil War's end and the turbulence that swept the country, and the time seemed like a rupture. The stakes are a little different, Mr. Neal explained. I believe Juneteenth seems different now, he remarked. It's a chance for people to catch their breath after the extraordinary rate of change and shifting that we've witnessed over the last couple of weeks. Number 10. One 2020 event received criticism. President Donald J. Trump announced his first rally since the coronavirus outbreak shut down most of the country last spring. It would be held on June 19 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a significant date and site for many Black Americans. When white mobs assaulted a prosperous black commercial neighborhood known as Black Wall Street in 1921, it was one of the country's deadliest incidents of racist violence. The rioters damaged over 1,200 houses and murdered up to 300 individuals. Mr. Trump's detractors were outraged by the news. This isn't just a wink to white supremacists, he's throwing them a welcome home party, said California Senator Kamala Harris at the time. In reaction to the criticism, Mr. Trump's campaign manager, Brad Parscale, emphasized Mr. Trump's strong record of success with African Americans. Mr. Trump stated the event would be postponed by 1 day shortly after it was scheduled, after some of his black friends and fans urged the adjustment to honor the holiday.
If you like this video and you want to see more like it, make sure to like the video Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you get notified every single time a new video goes live.